The number one issue that students seek help for is time management. So this webinar is to help you think about how to create a successful attitude and strategy for improving the use of your time and being a more successful student. We're going to look at the myth of time management, how to change your approach to managing your time, and 4 elements of a successful time management system. In order to do something well, we must think about how our time is spent preparing to do that activity. This quote by Abraham Lincoln exemplifies the idea that given an amount of time to complete a task, the time we actually spend doing the task is not as significant as the time we take preparing to do it. Why does it seem sometimes that there are people who can get so much done with the same amount of time? Why do some people not only get more done in the same amount of time, but seem to be successful at it too? It's because they are being intentional and deliberate with the choices they make with their time. They are applying strategies to ensure that they complete each task in its totality, rather than jumping from one thing to the next. Time management is not about managing minutes and hours, it is about managing the choices we make with the activities that take up our time. If we can become more successful in how we choose to spend our time, we will achieve success. So why is time management so difficult for so many college students? Well, let's consider the difference between high school and college to put it into perspective. High school is an environment of low risk for many students. There is more structure and less choice involved in how high school students spend their time, not to mention the higher degree of involvement from teachers and school staff to make sure that students stay on track. High school students often have help forced on them when they are not achieving success, and the expectation of the work is much different than that at the college level. College is different than high school in almost every way you can imagine. The level of freedom changes, and with that comes a higher degree of responsibility for the student. The expectation for the quality of work is more intense, and success is directly related to the individual student's ability to make good choices with how they study and prepare. Help is rarely offered unless the student seeks it out first, which puts the locus of control on you for how successful you will be. It is important for you to change the way you think about homework. While high school allows much of the work to be completed at school, college requires more time outside of the classroom in order to be successful. College is a full-time job, and the trap that most students run into is that they don't set aside the time it takes outside of class to understand the material. And how can you manage your study time if you haven't identified how much time you will study? A good rule of thumb for college students is to multiply the number of class hours or credits you have by 2. The result is the number of hours outside of class you should set aside to read, complete homework, meet with professors, seek tutoring, attend study groups, and so much more. This number may need to increase depending on the level of difficulty in your courses, so don't underestimate your time. Remember, it is your responsibility to set the bar for how much time you will spend working on your success in college. No one can set that for you, and it's up to you to commit yourself to your success. So how do we develop a good plan for successful time management? It starts with these 4 elements. Attitude. Before you can figure out what you're going to do, you have to determine how committed you are to do it. What are you going to prioritize? What you determine is important to you, whether that be friends, work, family, your social life, your studies, is what you will probably be most successful at. If it is more important to you to spend time with your friends, you might have a great social life, but your grades could suffer. And what you decide is important is entirely up to you. Goals. Once you know what your priorities are and have established a good attitude about sticking to them, you need to write out goals. Make sure that your goals are specific and clear so that you will know when you have achieved them. You will know they are measurable if you clearly know when they are completed. Pay close attention to keeping your goals attainable and realistic so that you can achieve them, and be cautious of making your goals too long-term. If you find yourself having difficulty sticking to goals that are a quarter or year long, then break them down to a monthly or even weekly basis. Ask yourself, how will I know that I've been successful? When will I know I am successful? Set goals for the number of hours you will study or for completing certain tasks like meeting with your instructors or attending study groups. And don't forget to reward yourself when you achieve them. Once you have identified your goals, set up strategies and tools that will help you achieve them. Maybe you use a written planner or a calendar on your phone to keep track of important dates. Spend time each day creating a to-do list to stay on track. Set up alerts on your computer or phone to help remind you of things you need to do. Always ask yourself if a particular tool is working to keep you on track, and if it isn't, change your tools. The most important element to a successful time management plan, and the one that most students forget to do, is evaluate your success. How do you know that your plan is working? If it isn't working, how can you change so that you will be more successful? Make sure to set aside time each week and perhaps each day to assess whether you are successful. This will keep you on track and help you address any issues before they become too big to overcome. Time management is less about the amount of time you have and more about how you use your time to your best benefit. When you find yourself getting off track, stop and assess the situation and recommit yourself to your priorities. As a student, I hope that one of your priorities is to be the best student you can be, and that you set that bar high for yourself.